Episode 50. Everyone wants to be able to be self-sufficient. Everyone wants to be able to be the person that like transitions themselves into that dream life. And we all have that image of what that I wish I could get away and turn my life into this looks like. But most of us will kind of sit and realize it's probably not going to happen. Well, today, I'm going to explore something that might excite you. But if there is a way to almost certainly guarantee that it will happen, you're not going to like how we do it. It's going to not seem real. That's exactly what today's topic is going to be. Because what really blows my mind, and a statement that I'll point out that just kind of tied us in is everyone says they want to change their life, but then they keep an escape hatch open. They don't go all in. They don't believe in their vision. It's because we're kind of dealt those cards. It's like Hernan Cortez, right? He lands in the New World, few hundred guys, right? They get off the ships, facing armies that are indigenous, 10 times larger in size than them. If they fail, they quite literally they're dead. They're getting probably taken prisoner of war. They might get executed. They might get sacrificed to the whatever gods. Maybe there's no second chance. And like the first order he gave his soldiers was go ahead and burn the boat. Quite literally. And that's again, if you guys aren't tracking, that's think about that. Like the only, let's say you're Anthony, you live in Texas, right? Like West Dallas, yeah. Let's say like, and you're married too. So let's say you just got orders saying we're gonna send you to East Asia for like a war, a hypothetical war, right? And you need to leave next week. And the only like you get out there, let's say, and the only way to get home is literally through a gunfight. How motivated would you be to get out of that situation alive? If you thought you were coming home, if you wanted to see your wife again, if the life you were living was dependent on you getting back, versus you go into the same situation and there's a battle, a quarter mile up the road. You guys have the option to help out, right? In one case, like in either case, you might be going into the battle regardless, but the fight or flight kind of reaction that drives you to survive in that case is so much greater when you're facing the real circumstances of there's no other option. And if I want to get back to the life I want, I have to go through it. Like there's no choice to be made. I'm not giving myself an in or an out. It's just, this is my reality. What would your mindset be? Like being in imagine putting yourself in like Hernan Cortez's soldier's shoes. What would that feel like?
Think about Hernan Cortez, like they had this, it's like double almost, because you also left your country, sailed for months at a time. And it's like, even if you didn't burn the boats, you still got to go through, months of, and sailing was not a pleasant experience back then. Today we have cruises, but back then it was not a pleasant experience to be on a wooden ship for months at a time with other dudes. But that's just, I don't know. I think that enough would have been motivation, that it's like so much sacrifice already went into it. Like there's almost like there was nothing else to lose for them anyways. And so why not make that the actual stamp? Like that's the final straw. You have nothing else to lose. You better go, your light there.
They won. They didn't have better weapons per se or more men. They had swords, right? They had steel weapons, but the other side had bows and arrows. They had decent technology. It was because retreat just wasn't an option. It didn't even process as a reality in their head. Victory literally was their only way. They have to win. They have to be in a position where they can at least set up base. They have to push them. It's like D-Day. You have to get on shore. Otherwise, there's no progress. Everything else that happened up to that point, preaching the beaches was for nothing if you don't finish the mission and you do what you came to do. And most of you listening right now, you haven't burned your boats entirely. You're saying, I'm going to just invest a couple $100. I want to play a little safe. I don't want to step too far in here. I haven't tried it out yet. And that's why you're still halfway in, halfway out, just wondering why like manifestation doesn't work for you. Because the second you hit that first wall of defeat, you almost justified. You were almost looking for it. So you can say, I put the $200 in. I tried. But did you? And I think that happens so many times to people. Do you think that's relevant for the gym?
Dude, I don't know if there's I don't know if there's a more relevant place to apply that. I mean, besides what we're talking about. Like, people in general don't really want to wait for things anymore because everything is so instant for us. Your food is instantly there as soon as you click the button on Uber Eats. Your dopamine from, everybody talks about that. It's cliche at this point, but your dopamine from scrolling is right there as soon as you do it. The thing about anything worth your time, fitness or building your wealth, building an empire, personal brand, whatever it is you're chasing, nothing worth your time comes like as instantly as you want it. Like, I don't think I can think of one example of something that was worth your time and was worth the value of what you had to put into it. Took, no time essentially. In the gym, like that one's tough because it's hard day by day. You don't really see progress. You don't really see your bench press go up. Even between times in which you hit bench press, because you don't bench every day. You say you bench twice a week. You don't see it increase time to time to time to time, but you write down in your notebook that, in August you hit 175, and then you don't really see the changes, but then you look back and it's next year in June and you're hitting, 250 and you're like, oh, that actually is that's like a 75 pound difference. But the thing is that it takes your effort consistently, not necessarily perfect every time, but consistently being done in order to compound and add up to something that was worth your time. So
Yes, that's really the only response to that is you have to go through that fight. And just to take it on the micro level, you just talk about the macro level, but you're in a rep, you're in a set. If you don't believe that you can do 8 reps, let's say you're doing a max out set for like tricep push downs on the rope, right? I'm gonna do 12 reps and finish out. I get to 6. The weight is the same weight. It's pretty easy to do the first 6. So the weight didn't change. My muscles are maybe a little more tired, sure. They're not maxed out in any extent. The only thing that's preventing me from getting a 12 is me saying I don't want to go through the pain because I don't think it's going to be worth the pain to get to the 12th rep. I don't think that it will pay off. The pain outweighs the gain in that aspect. So you need to turn off that measurement. Too many of you are measuring that all the time. You need to just say 12 reps is going to happen because 6 reps isn't even a possibility. And if you do that, you will be a beast. Essentially, that's how David Goggins works, and that's why he's worshipped because he can do that. And he says, like, everyone comes up to me as fans and they're like, who's gonna carry the boats and stuff? He's like, I don't feel like that 90% of the time, but the power he has is he can do that on command. He can choose to be in that mindset. And that's why he beats everyone in any realm of endeavor, essentially. So let's talk. Let's not just the fluffy, like, law of attraction garbage, not wishful thinking. I'm talking about like what manifestation actually is. The process of making something inevitable, of crystallizing it from your mind to reality, because you've removed every alternative in your life. It's the process of, that's why you hear rich people say, how did you get this way? Well, it's not what I did, it's what I removed. It's what I stopped doing, right? You're removing things to prevent yourself from getting off course. And then the only course you have left is to reach the goal that is clear in your mind because you also think about it every day. Manifestation isn't sitting on the couch, repeating affirmations and waiting for the universe to do push-ups on your behalf, essentially. It's not mood boards. It's not praying to win the lottery. I'm going to give you a quick example, and then Anthony, I'm going to open it up with a question afterwards. I made a video on this, you probably saw it. I walked past a construction site last night. There's just this slab of concrete, some beams, half a wall standing on a house. Imagine if the builder stood there and said, well, I don't see a house here. So why would I keep building? That's delusional. There's nothing, there's just grass here. Why are you saying there's going to be a house here? You call them insane, but that's how most people live their lives. They say, I don't see the business yet, so I guess it's not real. And therefore, why would I bring men out here and tell them that we're building a house if there's just grass in front of me? It would seem almost delusional to think that that's not the case, because we know that's how houses are. But I don't see the money in my account, so I guess I'll quit. All of a sudden, the same logic applied to you being successful doesn't work now. You don't quit halfway through building a house because the builder knows the blueprint is real. He's seen other people do it. He knows the walls are coming, the people are coming, the roof is coming. He's done it before. So, Anthony, why do people treat their life like that? What do you think the switch is? Because to me, I think the most obvious thing in that is that a builder has the clear plan. The builder sees the house. They can see it very clearly on the paper. Most people don't take the time or the effort. They just jump in without seeing the clear measurement down to the inches blueprint of the house before they start going and even knowing what they're going for in the first place. They just say, stock trading looks fun. I'm just going to put money in and see if I figure it out. And they never had a plan, so the motivation never matches.
you ask what the switch is. The switch, literally, it comes down to the way you think about yourself and like what you're capable of. You go from, I think the switch is going from, that's a cool thing that to look at or to experience, to use, to seeing something that like if in your example, let me just use your example. It goes from seeing a field and saying, yeah, that's cool, there's grass, whatever, to seeing a field, instead of just seeing grass, you see potential. Not only seeing it, but I think that where the switch actually comes is like believing you are someone who's capable of putting the house there. So now that if we're talking about in terms of the house, think about it in terms of what it is that's stopping you from, like, let's just say, I'll make an example out of myself because this is a real world. I'm trying to build a personal brand and maybe more relatable than building a house for a lot of people watching. I started an Instagram page, 0 followers. I literally did this, 0 followers, just under a year ago.
You did.
0 followers. Now, there's a million bot accounts on Instagram that have 0 followers and just like things, and they're bots. And so that's what to me, like if I was to see that, like I told myself at the time, like, man, people are just gonna think I'm a bot account. Like I'm just out here liking things, posting random stuff. There's not a ton of clarity. Like you can't really tell what it is I do. But the difference between what I think would have stopped most people from continuing when 6 months later I had 20 followers, 8 months later I have like 70 followers, 10 months later I only have 100 followers. But the difference is that I don't look at the follower count for what it is today. Like I look at what I'm posting and I look at the difference between the post I made last night and my first post that I kept on my Instagram for this exact purpose. It's dog water. It's not even a good post, but I kept it there so that I could continue to look at it like as I get better. And the difference is that instead of just looking at it as my bot account, I looked at it as first few bricks I'm laying to building the wall that's going to be me at 500,000. You know what I mean?
I like that so much. It's my answer to the question, because I thought of my answer, what it was going to be. And then I heard your answer. I'm like, we're thinking the same. I'm really glad that my answer, as simply put, is the builder's job is to build houses. The builder's job is to, like, they'll make money, but the builder's saying, what I'm driving here to do every day is to build a house. I'm not here to make sure the money gets in my bank account. My primary job is putting the walls up. Everything else is secondary. And then the house gets built. It's I'm here to get into stock trading because stock trading is what I do. And then the money comes after that. The money is a measure of how good I stock trade. Too many of you are like, I'm going to make money by trying to stock trade. And you wonder why stock trade, you can't figure out the technicals, you can't get your patterns down, you can't be successful at it. You're not doing it for the right reason. As much as you want, if you're trying to date a girl or a guy, or whoever it is, right? You're in the dating market. If you want to date that person, you don't go do everything that you think that person's going to like. You become yourself in such a confident version of yourself that you naturally attract people like that into you. So why wouldn't you apply the same logic for business, friendships, networking, anything else? And I think you capture that perfectly with, yes, you're going to do it because the followers are, you're not going to go build a house and say, I wonder how many people are going to walk through the door. What if I don't get a family in here in the first month? No, your job is to build a house, not care about who lives in it.
I'll make one point on top of this too, because I know if I had heard us talking about this when I first started the Instagram account, I would have been like, yeah, it's cool, but like, I don't really understand how to start thinking like that. And I can't really tell you exactly how to do that for yourself, because I think obviously not everybody thinks the same way. If you're somebody like that who's thinking to yourself right now, like, cool, how do you do that? A tip I have, this is not a blueprint. A tip I have is you need to immediately like get out of this habit of caring what other people think or say or believe about you. Because for the most part, like, unless you still live under your parents' household, you know, and you have to abide by their rules and laws of the house, no one's opinion of you matters or like actually affects in real time anything that you like should say or do. Like I used to kind of shun people away. I wouldn't push my account because I was like, I don't want people I know to see me being cringe online. And like today, I like freely talk about it today because I don't really care if they think I'm cringe. I know I'm cringe. Like if you gonna be over that, like getting over that. So that's the first step you got to take, in my opinion, is you need to get over yourself. And like by that I mean get over what you think, like get over this thinking so highly of yourself. Like who cares? If you have a mission you truly believe in and you need to accomplish, like you would do anything to get to that point. One of the first blocks, and I'm only saying this because this was for me, other people's opinions on you, which if you know anything about philosophy, it's like a stoic mindset or concept that if there's like I don't know if it's stoicism. One of the philosophies says there's like levels of intelligence given to like types of conversations. And some of the lowest intelligence conversations you can have are like about other people and about other people's opinions, because they have no effect in real time on what's going on in the world and what's going on with you. So if you can think about it, like this is such a minuscule and unimportant thing to know that I got a couple of hate comments on an Instagram video I posted, and to instead just keep seeing this vision that it's not about what was cringe today. It's going to be like one day because you were so cringe for so long, you're going to have enough experience to make good quality stuff. And you're not going to get to that point unless you went through this period. So you might as well just get over it right now. So that's my tip too, if you're trying to figure that out.
Usually the people that are worried about this floodgate of negativity, of people that are going to just hate comments on their posts, most of the time, 99% of the time when you start posting, it never comes. And then that's almost aggravating because you're like, everything holding me back from just expressing myself the way I want on social media and really going into build that brand was all in my head because the comments never came. And by the time they start coming, 99% of the comments are positive. And then by the time you even start getting like hateful comments, most of the people are commenting positive stuff and you're growing anyway, because it tends that like the only time people will hate on you is if they see that you're probably doing better than them. And by that point, you don't even care anyway because you're doing better than people and you're doing what you love. So it doesn't mean anything. So the fear almost quite literally can't exist by the time it does, because you're almost immune to that. And you've already been posting so long that it tends to like not really affect you the way you thought before you ever posted the first one. It's like kind of like we over anticipate. That's like the fear of being afraid almost about what's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't even have to apply just to like social media posting. Like in all aspects. Like you see bodybuilders that take their meal prep somewhere like out with their friends. And do you think they care if their friends clown on them for not having a hamburger when instead they're eating their chicken and rice? Like no, because he doesn't look like the Mr. Olympia right now, but he's building the blocks towards looking like the Mr. Olympia. And he sees the envy. He sees himself on the stage as Mr. Olympia. He doesn't see right now being hated on for not eating with the rest of his friends. That's just another example. But apply this to everything. Like if people have an opinion about how you spend your time, what you post on social media, like we already talked about, how you speak, how you act, what time you wake up, the things you would, when they're using their free weekends and you're at home working, it doesn't matter. Like other people's opinions should have zero impact unless it's like your parents, like I mentioned, or someone that truly means something to you and has your best intentions at heart. But random people, they're just something holding you back.
For those of you that I know a lot of people that listen are maybe in high school, college age, things like that. So you're obviously in an environment with people you never chose to be around that are participating in the same activity. You didn't choose the people to go to school with, you made friends out of groups you had, things like that. What I'll say is if you're afraid to commit to this now because you're afraid of the repercussions, you're afraid of how you look, just know that any of us, Anthony and I, would pay money to be in your shoes to go back and to hit the post button then and walk into school. Maybe somebody makes fun of you. Boo hoo. Because what you'll realize then is that's actually a superpower because you just essentially bought yourself a something that can't even be priced. You bought yourself a lie detector of who's actually in it to win it with you, who cares about your success. When people see your posts and they clown on you, if they're doing it to bring you down, you can easily then tell who your friends are and who are. If I could do that, and I almost am trying to do it now because I see who is supporting me, who's in my corner, who's just hating, and I know which people I really want to keep around. And it's kind of like a lot of you guys are scared to do that because you're afraid to get hated on, which means that you're really afraid of like breaking away from your current friend and growing and maturing in that way. And you're scared of be walking that path alone if they happen to do that to it. It's going to be lonely regardless. And the sooner you get comfortable with that, easier it is to hit that post button to go start your own brand, your own journey. And you'll oftentimes find people like Anthony and I that are actually better, that can make up 10 times the amount of one of those people that is should be proud to do that journey with. And obviously Anthony and I are gonna like clown on each other. We're actually gonna like each other's videos and like do everything possible to make sure we both make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing too is like you'll find once you break free from that and you've actually put yourself in a position to be in the spaces of like-minded people. Like I don't even like I'll see other Instagram accounts in my niche too that you could say are competitors, but they're not really because what are we competing for? None of us make money. And I'll go in there because I know how much it sucks to post every day and get no comments, no views, no nothing. And I'll go in there and I'll like and comment on like a few of their videos and be like, oh, this is awesome, man. Like I really like how he's pointing this out. Just because I know what it takes to like put in the work he's putting in. And so what I'm trying to get at is like you'll start to be in these spaces and like giving yourself more opportunity, be with like-minded people and people that actually care to see your success, not because they feel like they have to, but because you're all doing it together. Like they understand what it takes. You know what I mean? And that's just a small example for me, but I don't know if you've had similar experience.
I think I don't really I want to read or steal your thunder either. So I'm just gonna let you I'm gonna let that point sit because I think it's a good culmination of that practice. I want you guys to again Anthony said like he doesn't necessarily know how to explain how to do this practice of manifesting it. There actually are ways that you can practice the skill because you're transforming essentially outcomes in your life. It seems like it's like you know the Disney Channel, like you have the magic, you can draw whatever you want. Like it's kind of like you can craft your own reality. In fact, some people there's like theories that life, what we see around us, is just carbonized, crystallized belief in our reality, and at a very meta level and stuff like that. But just to without getting that deep into it, the basic practices. I'm going to explain this, how to do it to you through case studies. And hopefully you guys see what you need to do along the way. Think about Alexander the Great. He conquered the known world before he was 30. He would definitely be in Forbes under 30, 30 under 30. Do you think he sat around just like hoping it would happen? What do you think he told himself in the morning before he started his conquest, right? He told himself that it was inevitable. He was going to win. The key thoughts you need to do to make this happen, be essentially delusional about that. You need to talk about the things that will happen in your life as if they already are in your hands. If you want to make $1,000,000, you need to start telling yourself things like, I'm so grateful that $1,000,000 comes to me easily. Like, I'm the type of person that can make $1,000,000 easy. I'm so glad that the universe is giving me the ability to to be this type of entrepreneur. I'm really glad that my business can succeed easily and I can figure out all the problems in it. You're training. Think about shooting a basketball. The more you do it, the muscle memory kicks in. It's the same thing with your thoughts and your actions. Subconsciously, if you tell yourself something over and over again, and more importantly, audit that regularly, you're going to start thinking those thoughts without thinking them. They're going to be running in the background of everything else you do. So when it's 8 p.m. and you get tired, consciously you might be thinking, it's about bedtime, but subconsciously, something inside you can't put to words is going to say, I want to go a little bit longer on this. It's really going to be you telling yourself that you're the person that makes $1 million and that type of person gets to work. Look at Steve Jobs. He didn't wait till the iPhone existed to believe it was possible. He said, out there is a device that you can use. You can swipe with your finger. It has the full functionality. The iPhone wasn't even made when they pitched it. He sold the iPhone and then got the funding for it and then built the actual device. That is conviction, because he was selling something that basically didn't exist, but he sold his conviction and belief. A man that can do that at that large of a scale with Apple is dangerous, because he will find nothing but the right way to make it happen. When the money hits your account, when you're on the clock to make it happen, that's oftentimes the best way to do it. Elon Musk, he invested everything he had from PayPal back into Tesla and SpaceX. When everyone else just sat with their earnings, he could have lost everything and he ended up making everything. And that's the pattern. You see the pattern. The greats don't manifest by dreaming. It's not about saying that I want to in 5 years hit $5 billion. It's saying I'm already the person that makes $5 billion. What am I doing next? Where is this money? Where do I go find it? So it's a slight different pattern than we're typically taught in school or by the typical videos. The universe doesn't reward dreamers. If you talk about your goals like they're dreams, that's not going to work. It rewards builders who refuse to retreat. So I kind of want to do an exercise around this, just so you guys can get a more clear example. I could use mine, but since Anthony, I know you're here, and I think this would be a good practice. Is there a goal that you have for social media or income or clients or whatever it is for the next 90 days?
90 days. I don't know. I haven't thought of something within 90 days, but I'll just say break 150 followers.
So let's pretend nothing that you're working out for your business right now exists. You have a blank slate. You are brand new coming into from a third party spectator view, looking at Anthony. If you already had 150 followers, what would your account likely look like to the people watching? How would your content be better? What type of stuff would be going on? How many times would you be posting? What is that person doing at that stage that's a little bit better than where you're at now?
Content would be optimized. I already have plans to do so, based on what I've learned about how Instagram has updated how their algorithm pushes videos in 2025, which I wish I would have known earlier in 2025. But I'd be making content more focused on the message I'm trying to spread and less on things I think are going to go viral. But I would still keep a mix so that there's a couple of them that I know do better on my page, and I'll keep them so that it brings people to my page. But then the problem is right now when people get to my page, I have no other videos that clearly depict what it is I'm trying to get them to know about me and what I do. So I'd make sure that my mix of content clearly outlines that, and then does a good job of bringing people in as well.
Yeah. So essentially that's what's already going on. Let's imagine that as an alternate reality from right now. Basically you're just going to imagine yourself, the current you, spectating and eventually kind of stepping in to that reality of what that looks like. And you're just going to start working on the actions that person already is. You're going to start editing your videos like they are, even if you don't know how to do it yet, which a lot of you are I don't know the skill that the 150 follower version of me is going to do. You're going to just, with the other parts of their existence that they have, what is the confidence that the person that, gained another 50% of their follower count organically has? What is the way you're going to be communicating? If you tell yourself you have 150 followers, even if you don't, and you should actually say that sentence. I'm really glad I made it to 150 followers. I'm glad that people follow me and find me organically and are glad to find my page to be a cool and unique experience. I'm really grateful that I'm gaining subscribers easily. If you say those things in your head, ideally say them every morning. I think about this stuff every night before I go to bed. Write it out on a piece of paper. And if you repeat it enough, like shooting a basketball or working out at the gym, which should be pretty clear to you, regularly, you're going to build up the neural pathways in your brain that create that belief and that route it. You guys know that as you get older, right? You're supposed to do like crossword puzzles and games and keep your brain engaged. Otherwise, you're going to get dementia brain degenerative diseases, things like that. So you need to keep your brain active as a muscle. You're doing the same thing now by strengthening the pathways and weakening the ones that are pulling you away from what you. So in reality, it seems like this meta, like a fake imaginary thing, but in reality, what's going on in your brain is it's getting stronger. You just can't see it like getting a bicep, but you're doing it the same way. That makes a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it does make sense. I don't mean to cut you off. Were you going to say something else?
Yeah, it's just you can't see brain pumps, but
Yeah.
communicate to yourself in a way where it's already possible. But then what I said earlier is burn the other boats and don't give attention to anything that's not validating that. That's why the richest people, the most successful people, I don't necessarily like the guy, but Sam Altman, right, CEO of OpenAI, fired his entire board because they didn't like him. They didn't like the way he thought, which arguably you want to take feedback, right? But the people that make it and that make the hyper elite levels of success, they only keep people around that validate them. So they're seen as a little bit delusional. They're seen as a little bit crazy. But people that's like, and I don't want to use this as a bad example, but for most of you guys, when you're young, when you're getting started, it's going to be your parents. Your parents are probably the biggest people holding you back from what you want in your success because to them, they don't have $1 million most of the time. They don't have successful businesses. They're going to want to protect you. So naturally, the response is going to be, you're probably not going to make $1 million. That's kind of unrealistic. Like, don't set your goals that high because I don't want you to be disappointed. And that's fine, right? That's the protective instinct a parent has. But every time you hear that, even if you just think, okay, well, I get it, right? Whenever those words are spoken, you hear them. You don't think you hear them in the process or need anything, but like a sponge, your brain picks up on them and it kind of, you feel that in your gut a little bit of saying, somebody doesn't believe in me and therefore I don't believe it. When you keep people around that do that all the time, which is why you have to outgrow your friend groups, people in your life as you succeed, you keep more and more people around. And the people that make it the most are in these like wolf packs of creators, entrepreneurs, successful people. Your network is your net worth, essentially. You guys know about Altura, you know about our projects, things like that. But having the right people is going to guarantee that if you see a red Ferrari being your dream car in the future, you see exactly what it looks like. You see where the yellow logo is positioned on it. And then someone starts saying, you can't afford that. You're probably going to drive like a Nissan Altima. All of a sudden in your brain, you see a picture of a Nissan Altima. I'm thinking about it right now, talking about it. And I did that. Then my brain quite literally isn't focused on a red Ferrari anymore or whatever it is because I'm thinking about something else. So that vision just gets thrown off to the side a little. This is actually real things that are happening. They feel like faith because you can't see them except in your vision of your head, but they exist in the real world. And most of the time, people will actually make those things a reality. And I don't know how to say it other than that without sounding crazy. There's an actual practice and set of exercises to do to make this more real, which we teach inside of our Altura project and other things like that, which we'll do after our mint. But you guys need to understand that thoughts and words quite literally shape your beliefs, which shape your habits, and therefore shape your outcome.
There's literally been studies that show your brain in a lot of instances it can't tell the difference between constant thoughts you have and like your actual state of being. Like they use this mostly to explain certain instances of like anxiety or depression where like something will happen and something unfortunate happens and a person continuously thinks about how this is negatively affecting their life. And after a certain amount of time, like when those are the only thoughts you're giving yourself, like literal studies show, and I can't quote them, I don't have them off the top of my head, but I've read about this before where people that are constantly doing this to themselves unintentionally live in states of depression and anxiety for longer and more intensely because that's all that they can think about. And this is not like new technology. You know what I mean? It's just like people don't think about this. People don't apply this. Like people have known about it, but for some reason still don't. It's not talked about. So this is why we're talking about it. And for some reason don't apply it to bettering themselves in any aspect they have a desire for.
You remember the CIA study I told you about with the PD? Well, they basically for 2 days straight, every 15 seconds or something like that, they played an audio file that said, "You are too late" to some guy that was in the study. After the 2 days, it was supposed to run like a few days, but he wanted to kill himself or exit life, whatever you call it. Like he was done. Like he was a normal guy, normal. Nothing, no brain degenerative diseases, no mental health conditions, a normal person. They say at your work, if you sit within 15 feet of somebody negatively productive or positively productive, even if you don't see them, you become more productive or less productive. That's how the energy flows. That's how output flows. It's hard to explain because we only see 3 dimensions and there's countless dimensions. So of course, we don't see how these things actually work. That's where belief takes them. If you believe that these things are your reality, there's a lot of things we can't see, microwaves, color spectrums, things like that. but our reality is shaped by them. And so why would you not think that this is also the same? Very careful about what you do and what you don't do. And therefore, I used to be, remember, like 2 years ago, I used to focus on like dating advice. And one of the tips I remember giving was bounce your eyes. That's how you attract people, is like, some of you guys have this like porn brain, right? As guys, dopamine spiked brain. And so when you see a pretty girl, you're like fawning all over them, like you're a gooner, right? And so you need to, as soon as you see somebody that's really attractive, purposely like pull your vision away from them. Stop training your brain to like stare at something that you want. Like pull yourself away, pull back the dopamine and hold your value. And that's one of the first things I recommend. Quit giving in to temptation. And therefore, same thing happens with the negative energy. We want to be negative because that reaffirms that we don't have to do anything, that where we're already at is safe, and we can just hate the world instead of trying to change it. And the second you realize a negative thought is pinning you here on purpose, you call it the devil, you call it just the bad universal energy, you call it just luck that you ran into the wrong person. Bounce your eyes, bounce your thoughts away from that and say, this person's talking about Altura or a future business idea, whatever it is that you might be working on, or me not working, just bounce it. Just, they don't, that's fine. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to be delusional, right? That's what they'll call you, but you'll win at it.
I couldn't have said it better. It's
Build Altura. Like that's, manifestation alone is great. It's a practice. And I will tell you, anybody that does it actually tends to hit their goals, but you need an environment. You need to practice this, like shooting free throws, working out, writing books, driving race cars. You need the right allies and the right resources. And Altura is the circle that, we've started for this, the Ascend movement, the podcast. Anthony has his own community of people that are engaged on his channel. Like, join these networks of people you believe in, and high achievers. And you need that. It's the glue that makes sure that every time you call yourself delusional, you're not holding on to that negative energy. Somebody can come along and be like, I'm proud of you for doing that. And it turns good. Otherwise, you get in your head too easily. Too many of you guys, like not having a spotter at the gym and trying to get yourself stronger, you can't really hit your full potential with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's honestly no better time, I think, that has ever been in the earth where you could have a community of like-minded people, and you don't really have to search that far. Like, it's communities for all types of people, all languages, all backgrounds exist everywhere. So if you're going to be somebody that's trying to be a high achiever that, for most of your life has felt this itch to accomplish more but didn't really know how to scratch it, I promise you there's a lot of people out there that are tired too of seeing all these successful people online and wondering, why is it that I'm not in that circle? Why is it that I do the same thing. I trade, I lift. Maybe I don't have as good of a return or maybe as good of a physique, but I'm good enough. Like, why? And there's people that are doing worse than me that have more followers, or, whatever it is. There's a lot of people in a similar boat, and eventually, like, you can keep trying it on your own. I tried it on my own for a long time, but if it wasn't for the places I'm plugged into, the people I know, even just at a personal level, like it wouldn't have been possible, because I choose to surround. I really only have like 3 to 4, maybe 4, like close friends that I talk to on a regular basis, and that's because, yeah, nerds, yeah, but I don't really care. See, I don't care if anybody says that, because those 3 to 4 people like make me are either of the same or higher caliber than I exist in. And so therefore I'm going to be better. If you want something similar, there's options, and we have a few that's free, but find one that works for you.
We started, if you guys want to actually invest and be like actually kind of lock in that lifestyle more, we have a paid community, which yes, it's paid. But why would you not commit? Like, and again, train your brain to focus on committing stuff. Money is the best way to commit because you have to follow through on it. And therefore, we start Altura, which is an investment that you can sell. It's an NFT, but it's like an access token into a private community. We'll fund your business. You can find business partners. It's kind of the one-stop shop that all the technology you want. A curriculum of hidden doctrines, an arsenal of AI tools that we're going to invest in. It's not just really a community. It's kind of a society, a secret society. We're going to teach you how to manifest, how to do these things properly, how to change your reality, and give you the people and the friendships so that you don't just have 4 friends, but you actually have a community of people that are constantly engaged, constantly involved, that can help you guarantee that makes that. The final point I want to leave you guys with before we wrap up is think about how insane it is that you still believe you have to do it alone. Like, one of the biggest things I'll say when I coach people is they'll show me, they'll be like, I'm so pissed that like I see these videos of the Lambos and stuff on my feed. And I'm like, why are they on your feed? Get them off them. Because there's people that will see that video, and a small percentage of them will be like, that motivates me. I'm fired up now. I want to make that happen. But most people that see it will be really thinking, that kind of sucks. I'm jealous that this guy has it and I don't. They're coveting it, essentially. But you're saying it's motivating you. If you can tell deep down that you're not motivated by those videos, get them off your feet. Because then if the first thought that comes into your head is negative, then you either need to join a community of people that can help you practice affirming good beliefs for that. Otherwise, you're pushing yourself further away from actually getting that car. Or you need to just train yourself to, when you see that, want to have the same thing and not take it out on yourself or others. If you see it and you just get pissed off, that doesn't really actually last long term. It's kind of like having a quick smelling salt in the gym. Like, it does the job, it motivates you, but it doesn't actually help manifest that reality, as opposed to seeing yourself having that as well and getting excited. So that's the real illusion. The rich don't do anything alone, and they don't believe that things could be theirs. They know it, and they look delusional. They don't see the world, they visualize it. That's the difference. They don't see it for how it is, they see it for what it will be. And they build networks. They join societies to do anything possible to make it happen. And it becomes reality. Too many of you guys are looking at the bills that are coming due, the world you live in, the way traffic looks. You're not looking at where you're going to live in 5 years. And therefore, you're only distracted on the bad problems, and they get worse because you're giving more attention. They pool resources. They make it happen, and you aren't. But I'm giving you the opportunity here. We're telling you guys what to do. The floor is yours. But you could hate me for telling you this. You could be like, oh shit, he seems like it's so easy. It's not. I'm also giving you all the resources to get better at it. And that's what I really want you.
What is that better? You bought.
That's the dip. Most of you listening right now will go back to your boat and they'll tell yourself that you're going to sail back home tomorrow. And maybe you'll come off, maybe you'll step off the boat, but the second you see somebody and you throw a spear at them and they knock it away, you're like, oh, I tried. Well, I guess I lost. And the ones who burn them, the ones who step into Altura, the ones who stay with our podcast, the ones that actually give a shit, the ones that care, they will be the ones that build the empires. And it's not just some cringy sales line that I'm saying here to lead up to some big offer like most people do. I'm saying this because that is the point. You've seen that and kind of rejected that line for being the actual point of all of this. You have to burn it. What side of history are you going to be on? The half-committed side that loses the battle, that marches into Russia and freezes to death, right? Or the ones that go full head on into the battlefield, not afraid to get the job done at once and be bold about their action and actually win the war at the end of the day. It's manifestation without execution is fantasy, and manifestation without community is suicide. Altura and networks, Anthony's channel, ones you believe in, that's where both become inevitable.
Let it out. Community effort. You ever heard the phrase, takes a village? And all it never really goes away. It's from when you're a kid to, we're social creatures. That's what we're made for. Most people don't accomplish things on their own, but.
Well, you might just have 4 friends like Anthony. That's right. I probably have like 2 friends, so. But that's what we're trying to build here. And we're not acting like we already have all the resources. We're actually in the same boat. So the reason I started Altura, the reason Anthony and I are trying to build this, we're trying to build this then, he's trying to build his fitness channel. We're trying to create a space where people that you guys see our vision can come in and join us. We're not acting like we're better than you or we have it figured out. I might have a little bit of a head start, but none of us build anything unless we all come together, right? It's like a revolution or an enlightenment or a renaissance. You need a series of good thinking, high educated people to work together, because it doesn't just happen with one person shouting their message for 10 years. It's not going to be the job. It's you guys believing in what I'm telling you and then coming to talk to me. I'm open. Just send me a DM in the chat, like whatever it's going to be, and start the engagement. Like, believe in this mission as much as I'm trying to, because again, like, manifestation is the only way to make it real.
Believe in your own mission too. Believe in, don't just view everything you otherwise would have consumed as not possible for you to attain, but rather whatever it is you would have otherwise consumed as, and like everything is possible if you just believed it was possible for yourself. There's nothing you can't do. It's just, are you willing to take the risk associated and believe in yourself to a point where there's no other option but to succeed? And that's a real thing, and you'll find it.
That house outside, they're working on it today. Why do they keep working on it? Like, the house is going to be built because they know it's going to happen. They've already started to work on it. They built houses before they built. They're a team of people. They're not just one guy thinking he can figure it all out. That would be a lot scary. Join a team, see the way the house is built, visualize it before you ever start, and know that it's real, and affirm that every day, because it takes practice. Unless you build 50 houses in your mind for the businesses you're trying to build, you have a lot of thought that has to go into saying, this wall might not go up today, quote unquote, but I'm going to figure it out. And it will happen. I can promise you that. If you're looking for any sort of like sign or message, this is the sign. You hearing my words, and Anthony and I will support you all the way, even if we don't know you. So appreciate you guys for listening.
Absolutely.
Follow Anthony. Anthony, shout out your stuff real quick.
Pump_para, all socials. I don't post much to TikTok right now, but Instagram and YouTube are the main It's gonna be a journey, and it's a war of attrition, truly. Like I mean, this is what we're describing. It's like the people that consistently stay and stick with it because they believe in what it could be, not what it is right now, are going to win. And so as it applies to me, like I only have 103 followers as of today, and yes, I know the exact number because I look every day, but it doesn't matter. Like it's gonna be something bigger than it is now, so I'm not gonna stop. Pump_par, check it out. I actually just posted a YouTube video on Sunday. Spent like 6.5 hours editing it, so go watch it.
Hell yeah. And we'll see you guys back next week. I guess we're doing Mondays for this. So I'll drop the link, or I'll drop the links below depending on the platform. Go ahead and click that. Obviously follow us. It helps us so much more than you understand. And then I'll follow the Anthony's socials, my social, whatever you want to keep you interested and make sure that you also hit your goal. That's what we would care about. And we'll see you back next time. This has been the Ascended Podcast. And as always, I'm rooting for you.